Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. Time for another update on the F-bomber. He's back before Judge Wiggins for his prelim, and it gets worse. He calls the judge the other F word. I think it's time we use a C word, contempt or competency. As always, links to the previous videos are in the description as well as in the video. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
Ms. Carey?
Thank you. I have nothing further for this witness.
This witness be excused.
You may.
Temporary or permanent? Step on, officer, but please don't leave. Your next witness, Ms. Carey?
Thank you. People call Officer Nick Dow.
Officer, do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and have a seat. Ms. Carey?
Thank you. Sir, could you please state your full name for the record?
Nicholas Dow, D-O-L-L,
What's your occupation, sir?
City Cadillac Police Officer.
And were you working on March 18th of this year?
Yes.
Do you recall where you were about 9:40 that night?
We were in the Lakefront Park near the intersection, West Cass and South Lake Street.
Say we, who were you with?
Myself and Officer Nick.
What were you doing at that time?
We were on a separate investigation looking for a subject that was possibly suicidal in the area.
And you said the city of Cadillac Park?
Yes.
And just for the record, what county is that in?
Wexford,
State?
Michigan.
And while you were looking for your subject, did you encounter someone else?
Yes.
You recognize the person you encountered in the courtroom?
Yes.
Where is he sitting?
He is counsel to defense team.
What is he wearing?
Orange jail jumpsuit.
Thank you. Your Honor, may the record reflect he's identified the defendant.
It shall so reflect.
Do you know who the defendant was when you first encountered him that night?
I did not.
Describe your initial encounter with the defendant that night.
Officer Ridman attempted to make contact to see if he was a subject we were looking for. He was initially hostile and aggressive with us. He was yelling at us, raising his voice.
And when it was you and Officer Ridman determined he was not the subject you were looking for, correct?
Correct.
So at that point, what happened? What did you do?
We ended the conversation. He continued to walk along the sidewalk. We gave him a few seconds and followed behind him because our patrol car was parked in that direction.
And did you have further contact with the defendant?
Yes.
Describe that.
As we were walking behind him, he would turn around. He would yell at us, raise his voice, tell us to fuck off. As we were continuing to walk away from him, not engaging with him, other than me telling him to move along.
Did he move along?
No.
What happened?
He came to a point where he stopped, continued to yell at us. As we were walking again away from him toward the patrol car.
Did you ever, at that point, had you touched him yet?
No.
So after he stopped walking, what did you do?
We were returning to the patrol car. He was continuing to yell and raise his voice. Prior to ending the patrol car, I turned and faced him and told him to not yell several times.
How far away were you from him at that point?
Say between 30 and 45 feet.
And so he did not follow that command to stop yelling?
No.
And then what did you do?
And at that point, I determined that I was going to make the arrest. Told him he was under arrest.
And what happened?
He began walking away from me initially. I got up to him, made contact with him, told him he was under arrest. He turned and faced me and told me, "Don't fucking touch me."
Did he allow you to take him into custody at that point?
No, I had to take him to the ground and then he ignored several loud verbal commands to place his hands behind his back.
And sir, what were you wearing at that night?
The patrol officer's uniform, City Cadillac.
The one you're wearing today?
Yes,
And what type of vehicle were you in or walking to?
a fully marked City Cadillac patrol car.
After you took the defendant to the ground, describe what happened.
He was on his left side. I gave several loud verbal commands for him to roll his stomach, which he ignored. and he ignored the commands to place his hands behind his back as well.
Were you eventually able to take him into custody?
Yes,
Did other officers assist?
yes.
Who?
Officer Ridman and Officer Carlson.
um, Thank you. I don't have anything further.
Mr. Hartel?
Just a few brief questions. Thank you for being here. If I recall correctly, you were saying that at least for a moment, once you realized my client wasn't the suicidal party that you were looking for, he started to walk away, correct?
Correct.
Even though there was, according to your testimony, some verbal exchange, is there a reason why you and your partner didn't just drive away at that point?
We were going to, but he continued to yell.
Or was he continuing to still walk away at that point?
No.
Okay. All right. If you don't mind, could you describe, was there a description of someone you were looking for? Is there a reason why you thought my client was the initial party you were looking for?
Object to relevance.
It goes towards the initial interaction, right?
Aren't law enforcement allowed to have interaction on the street?
They are, but if they were looking for a specific person, I think it'd be relevant. If it met the description of my client, I believe it's relevant.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
I don't have any further questions at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Carey?
Thank you, officer. When you stated the defendant continued yelling, was he just yelling at you, yelling at someone else?
He was yelling at us, yelling obscenities.
Thank you. I don't have anything further.
Mr. Hartel?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Officer, when you'd indicated that you decided you were going to make the arrest, what was the arrest for?
Disorderly conduct.
Based on?
His yelling.
How loud was his yelling?
Loud enough so I could hear him clearly from the 30, 45 feet away.
And this is in the Lakeside Park area?
Yes,
So were you by the pavilion or bathrooms, or where were you?
we were parked by the bathrooms. That's the best description of where our patrol car was. He was on the sidewalk closer to the water.
Ms. Carey? Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Mr. Hartel?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
May this witness be excused?
Yes.
Mr. Hartel?
Yes, sir.
Step up. Your next witness, Ms. Carey?
People rest.
Mr. Hartel, any groups?
My client would enact his Fifth Amendment rights, and we do not have any further proof.
Argument, Ms. Carey?
Thank you. People would ask that the court find the matter over as charged. The officers contacted the defendant because they were looking for someone. They determined he was not that person. They tried walking away from him. They gave him direction to walk away. He chose not to, continued to yell and shout at them. And he was arrested for disorderly conduct. And he did not follow their demands. He knew or had reason to know they were officers. They were in their uniform. They had a marked patrol car. And they were performing a lawful act, looking for somebody. They were looking for a suicidal subject. So when they determined he wasn't that, they tried to get away from him. He would not. He kept engaging. He asked them to find it over. Thank you.
Mr. Hartel?
Your Honor, I would ask the court not to bind this up. I know we don't have the full description on the record of exactly who they were looking for, but we know why they were looking for that individual, which I do believe is admirable. And if somebody is suicidal, I hope the police go to help them. But as the officers did testify, they realized my client was not that individual. We heard testimony that he attempted to walk away. And we also heard a bunch of other testimony as well. But as the court knows, it is not illegal to resist an illegal arrest. And I'm not trying to reach too much into that right now, but I'd ask the court to factor in that per the testimony, the officers knew my client was not the person they were looking for. He was trying to walk away. Perhaps he was heated. Perhaps he was less than appropriate, but it's not illegal to resist an illegal arrest. Thank you.
What's the illegal arrest?
Well, if he wasn't doing anything wrong, Your Honor, if he was merely trying to leave after he felt he was
I think
being,
that's a mischaracterization of the testimony. They didn't say he was trying to leave, they were trying to leave.
they did testify that he was walking away at one point, Your Honor,
And then he stopped, he wouldn't leave.
as the interactions were going on. Which verbally could be his attempt to not be detained. If he felt that the police didn't have any right to talk to him, and he was telling the officers he did not wish to continue the conversation. Perhaps he was not the most polite and gentlemanly way of doing it, but I asked the court to factor in that if he felt he was being detained illegally, perhaps he was verbally trying to end the confrontation. Thank you.
Ms. Carey?
That he kept engaging. The officers were trying to end it. He engaged them. They tried to let him go. He refused by continuing to stand there and scream at them. So I would ask the question.
The court believes that there's been enough of an evidence shown today by probable cause that the person excuse me, described by law enforcement is Mr. Japkus, that back on March 18th, 2025, they had confronted him in the city park here in the city of Cadillac. While there was testimony that they were looking for a suicidal subject, they were quickly able to determine that Mr. Japkus was not the subject they were looking for. The testimony went on that they released Mr. Japkus. He started by happenstance to walk in the same direction that the officers had their patrol vehicle parked. They were in fully marked uniforms and in a fully marked patrol vehicle. Mr. Japkus, instead of walking along peacefully, decided to confront officers, yell, scream, profanities, although while I find that the disturbing the peace isn't based on the profanities, because I believe there is a First Amendment right to that, it's clearly loud enough that it would have been disturbing the peace, as officers testified, or Officer Dowell testified that he could hear it from 30 to 45 feet away. He was given commands to move along. Officer Ridman, I believe it was Officer Ridman, had indicated that there was a hours ordinance for the park. He was, in my opinion, given lawful commands. He refused to follow those commands. And then when attempted to be taken into custody for the disorderly conduct, he then refused to follow commands, and Officer Dowell had to have two law enforcement officers assist him. He refused to roll over, refused to be put in handcuffs. So for purposes of today, the probable cause, I find there is probable cause to believe that the defendant did commit the offense of resisting and obstruct a police officer in count one, and you'll be bound over to stand trial in circuit court.
Fuck you, bitch. You're a faggot. Ron, the defender's office has asked me to start trying to file an MC 208 with order for requesting the transcripts. I don't know if I can hand that to their staff.
Upstairs.
Yeah, it's ordered when he's bound over, but I mean, you can always file the request, I guess.
It's just the way we discussed it.
Mr. Hartel, before I sign a bind over, has there been any consideration regarding competency for him?
I have some concerns, Your Honor. I'm not sure if they rise to that level. But as the court did see, it's difficult for me to have full discussions with him. It's not much better when I'm privately at the gym.
I'll go ahead and sign the bind over, and I'll leave that up to you to handle in circuit.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's the contempt order.